So we are going to learn about measurement. So in this picture you can see it is showing there are some people that are helping each other to find the size. Like this guy saying, Father, why are these enclosures different in size? So some are large, some are smaller. So how is the size of any object measured? That's what we are going to see here. So first of all, let's talk about area. Like this guy is saying, wow, this football field is bigger than my school's football field. So, area, the size of a place or a surface is called area. Area is measured using a measuring tool and is expressed in a unit, which is square units. Like the area of a book can be expressed in square centimeter, that we write like this. At the top, we put tiny 2, which is read as square centimeter. This, okay?
Isn't this math?
Yeah, but that this topic we also study in science.
Oh, so we're just learning the same thing.
Hmm.
Okay.
The area of a mat can be expressed in square meter, and this is how we represent it: meter and tiny 2 at the top, which is called square. Then area of like an area on map of a country or city can be expressed as kilometer. So for smaller object we use smaller units. Okay?
Uh,
Yeah. So now measuring the area of like regular surfaces like rectangle or square. For example, if we have a rectangular shape, to find its area, we just times its length with its width. Like if we have a square of 1 centimeter, its area would be 1 times 1, which is 1 centimeter square. Okay?
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
So that's how we find area. Then, but let's suppose we have some irregular surfaces, like there, like the starfish. So there are various objects around us which are irregular, right? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So for like rectangular figures or square shapes, we just do length times width. So basically, if we have different units, we can estimate the area of regular irregular figures. Oh, what is wrong with it? Okay, 1 minute. Hmm. Yeah. For example, if you see this leaf, they want to estimate the surface area of this leaf. So we need to put the leaf on the graph paper, and then we can sketch the shape of the leaf, right? And we can take a big take for one whole square, because this square is of 1 centimeter. Okay, that means one square area is 1 centimeter. If you see there are 15 squares, then the area would be 15 square centimeter. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so basically we can use graph paper. This is called graph paper, where each square is 1 centimeter, and we can count that, and that's how we can find area. So area is just it is the size of a place or surface, right?
Yeah.
Like the size of this football field is area. Now let's talk about volume. Volume is like in this school bus, there are two school, like one school bus and a school van. So which vehicle can make more, can like hold or take more pupils? So a bus can take more, students because it is bigger, right? That means the volume of the bus is greater than the volume of the van. So volume means it is the amount of space which can be filled with solid, liquid or gas, basically any matter. Okay. Volume is how much space is there in something that can be filled with a matter. So volume is measured using measuring tools like the volume of a small cart, like a small pack of milk is usually given in milliliters. For a this bottle, we use liter. For a tank, we use cubic meter. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So what unit of volume would you measure like use for this object? These different. Tell me.
Okay. Millimeters,
Yes.
liters,
Hmm.
gallons.
Okay. And what about this area? What would you use for leaves? This and this?
So the last one's already filled up. The last one's already filled up for the what is the suitable unit for the area of these objects?
Yeah.
So okay. Leave I think like one raindrop. So 1 millimeter.
Uh,
Milli yeah, millimeter.
okay. For
No, milliliter.
no, I'm asking. This is for area. Liter we use for capacity or volume.
Okay. So
This
what
is
are we doing?
this is area. I'm
Uh,
this says unit for area. That is
two
square.
millimeters. Next one. 2 meters. Next one. 18, no, like 8 kilometers. 8 kilometers or
You should
something.
say square kilometers because when you say kilometer, that means you're talking about length. Okay, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
am.
but it says unit for the area. Area means the space of the surface, which
Okay.
for that we use a square kilometer. Otherwise, there won't be any difference between length and area. So for area, we put square with centimeter, meter, or kilometer. Okay, so this
Okay.
is square centimeter, this is square meter, this is square kilometer.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, like if we are talking about the measuring the volume of this hollow box, it means how much it can hold. That is the volume, right?
Yeah.
So because in volume there are three dimensions. There is length, width, and height. Okay. So we just multiply all of these. So what would be the volume for this box? Just multiply length with height and width. In this case,
Okay.
what is the volume of this box?
8.
8. Good.
8
Hmm.
centimeters.
8 centimeter cube. In case of volume, we write cube. Okay.
Okay. That doesn't have cube though.
No, like this is just talking about the length, but after finding the volume, the in final answer we write 8 cube centimeter. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah. When we find the volume of liquid, like volume of milk, juice, so the volume of milk we use milliliters, liters, right? And
Yeah.
for liquid we use, yeah. So like in labs, there are this cylinder, like measuring cylinder, which looks like this. This is
Yeah.
used to measure the volume of liquid, or like in this case, if it has numbers on it, from where
Yeah,
we
but
can.
we do this already? We've already done the same topic. And in school I've already done this.
Okay, but you will be learning something new, so don't worry. We haven't done it properly, how to find the volume of the box, right?
Yes, we have.
No. Did I told you how to find the volume of this before?
Yeah, you told me to. You literally just told me you have to multiply.
Y-
2 times 2 is 8.
yeah,
4.
right now I
Then
told you,
4.
but I didn't teach
Yeah,
you that
but I already
before.
knew that.
No, I didn't teach you volume, how to find the volume of cube. I'm very sure I taught you area, but not volume. So for measuring cylinder, do you wanna do scratch? That's why you are being like this?
No, we have already done this topic. What's
No,
the point of doing another topic? It's the
no,
same. Like
we
in fractions, yeah, there's lots of it. But doing area, we're doing the same thing over and over. Already in school, we don't do anything. Now we're doing the same thing here.
no, I haven't taught. Did I taught you about measuring cylinder and all? No, I never
Yes,
taught.
sir. I learned that in third grade.
Yeah, but
I
I
learned what a match cylinder is in third grade.
but did I teach you?
No.
So you are saying you taught me the same. You're teaching me same topic.
Yeah, because I already learned it before.
I don't know why you are always being like this. I didn't teach you volume in detail. I have no, never taught you how to find the volume of hollow boxes. Even if I have asked you this question without teaching you, you would not be able to do it. Do you know that we use cube when we are finding volume?
Yeah.
No, you just gave me 8 centimeter answer, right? How can you say that you know, or like, uh, we have learned this before? I'm very sure. I just, uh, that I haven't taught you this cube and square. So to find the volume, we can use this cylinder to find the volume. Like this is how we check. It has number on it through which we can read it. Okay. Then volume of irregular shaped or irregular solids. How do we find that? The volume of irregular shape is determined by the water displacement. Like if you take it is a piece of rock, if we put it into the water level would increase, right? Right?
Yeah.
And this, by measuring this displaced water, we can know the volume of this rock. Okay, like suppose the initial volume of water was 20 milliliter. Then we use a thread and a stone. We put a stone into the water level would rise up. From 20 meter, it became 30 meter. That means the volume of the stone is 10 meter because the difference between 20 and 30 is 10, right? This
Yeah.
method is called water displacement method, which is used to find the volume of irregular um, like objects. Okay, and this question was in your paper that we did that day, if you remember, science. There was a science practice test, right? Okay.
Okay.
Then this is the method 2, in which we use this can, and like let's suppose before we have this, uh, and water is filled till this open hole. As soon as we put a stone into it, water level would rise up, and through this hole it will come into this cylinder, right? And through,
Yeah.
because cylinder has readings on it, through which we can read, and that would be the volume of this stone. So using these methods, uh, we can find the volume of irregular figures. Can you explain how water displacement method works? Yeah.
Okay. So first you put a stone in water, and you see how much it goes up, and the amount it goes up is how much volume it has.
Hmm. Exactly. And in second method,
Second method, you also can do um you also can have like a beaker, and that has um gap in it, and if you move up and if you put a stone in it, the water will move up. So the water that goes out into the hole is how much displaced water is there.
yeah, exactly. So, what is the difference between area and volume?
What space it
Yeah,
can contain, or volume.
I I can't hear you properly.
I'm right here next to my computer.
Now I can hear you.
Okay. So area is the space that an object like can contain.
Object can contain. Okay. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Size.
Okay. Yeah, it's the size. Well, volume is like how much something can it contain, or like um keep inside of it.
Yes. Yeah. What units do we use for area?
Square
Square?
un
Yeah.
square centimeter, some square
Yeah.
unit. All
Exactly.
for volume, it's cube.
Yeah. Cube units. Good. Hmm. Okay. Now let's talk about density. Okay. Like here you can see father my talk duck floats. So this duck is floating over water. So why doesn't this toy duck sink? To find the answer of this question, we need to learn about density. Okay. So there are objects or material around us that float on the surface of water, and some sink. So what are the objects that float, and why some sink and some float? Like here the stone sinks, but these branch floats. So basically, why do objects float or sink? They floating as or sinking of object is related to the density of object. Okay, like the sponge has a lot of air space, right? But the soap has no air space if you compare a sponge with the soap. So if you put them into the water, the sponge float, but the soap sinks. Why? because the density of an object is different from one another. Objects that are less dense than water, they will float. Objects that are more dense than water will sink. So, dense means like if there are lots of, if there is no space between them, that is more dense. More particles are there in smaller volume, denser would be the object. Okay, are you there?
Okay.
Okay, like,
Okay.
hmm, if you compare this sponge with this soap, the sponge has air space, so the particles are not tightly packed. When they have space between them, that is less dense. When particles are very tightly packed, then in small space, that is more dense. Okay, so
Okay.
objects that are less dense, they will float, and objects that are more dense, they will sink. Okay, so water becomes more dense.
Okay.
Like, why do logs float on the surface but rubber band sinks in water? Because, like, it looks, in this example, if you see, they are doing an experiment and she says it looks like the grape is more dense than the water. So basically the grape will float when the water becomes more dense. How that can happen? How can we make water more dense? When salt is dissolved in water, water will become more dense, right?
Yeah.
So like without salt, if they do, the grape, they like it sink. But if they add salt in water, the water will become dense. Now water becomes more dense, so it start floating. So any object which is less than water will float. Objects that are more dense than water will sink. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. And basically, uh, so basically, this thing that if an object would float or sink depends on the density of object. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm. Uh, 1 minute. Yeah, so what is density? It tells us how tightly stuff is packed together, how heavy is something compared to its size. Like if you imagine you have an apple and a balloon. Suppose they both are same size, okay? But the apple feels heavy. So who has more density, apple or balloon?
Balloon.
Has is more dense?
No. Apple.
Yeah, because it feels heavy and balloon feels light. So that's because
Yeah.
the apple's particles are packed tightly, right? That's why it has high
Yeah.
density. But the balloon's particle are spread out. So that means it has low density. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So density tell us how tightly stuff is packed together or how heavy is something compared to its size. Like in sponge and soap, which has more density?
Soap.
Yes. That's why soap sinks, right? And sponge floats.
Yeah.
So objects that are less dense than water, they float. And objects that are more dense than water, they will sink into the water. Okay?
Okay.
What is density?
Density is how heavy something is.
Yeah, how heavy something is compared to its size.
Yeah. Okay.
And On what factor it depends that object would sink or float?
It's weight. No, it's density.
Yes. Which objects float?
Sponges. What
Why sponge
else?
float? Why?
Because it has lots of airspace.
So,
Because it's less dense.
then water.
Yeah.
Hmm. And why the soap sink?
Because it doesn't have airspace and because it has less density, more density than water.
Yes, that's great. Mm, so, any question?
No.
Okay, bye. Good luck for your exam.